Okay, let me see over here. Okay, looks like I am live. Looks like I was having some issues. But anyway, hi everybody. Hopefully you can hear me and see me. Maria from BeFabBeYou, your health and wellness and fitness coach. And it is Friday night, and tonight is day 25 of 30. Actually, no, 26. Oh, I'm losing count. Whatever I typed in there is fine. And I'm going to talk about intermittent fasting, which I kind of promised to someone that I would comment this week. And so I'm taking the Friday to talk about it. What is intermittent fasting? First of all, we're going to talk here is what is it briefly, what our experiences have been, and a few strategies for you to get started, okay, if you would like to try. Now, first of all, we want to say that intermittent fasting is not for everybody, and we have to treat the body with care and love until we get to that point. Otherwise, can be quite disruptive. And we want to teach the body how to get there, okay, if it is something that it is appropriate for you. So, okay, I just saw somebody clicking in and out of there, so I think that this is truly life, yeah. So anyway, so what is intermittent fasting? Is really what the name says. You're basically going to eat, or you're going to fast, more often, I guess, in a day, right? Or eat less, or skip meals. So there is like, oh my God, many versions of intermittent fasting. So some people say that eating, there is the typical actually 16-8 that a lot of people are doing, which you basically fast for 16 hours and you don't eat for 8. There is the 24-hour fast, which I've been doing once a week for quite a bit now. And then there's 3 days fast, there's 5-day fast, and my coach has done like a 28-day fast. So intermittent fasting can have tremendous benefit for our health. I would like, before I go into that, to say that, first of all, there are benefits, for us to be hungry. There is actually an activation of a growth hormone, which actually helps to burn fat. So being hungry is a thing that you can be comfortable with and very, very beneficial. And obviously it's going to get other hormones activated to say, hey, go and burn fat. That is ultimately one of the main goals of intermittent fasting, is to improve the hormone balance and assure that you teach the body to it's okay to be hungry and use the storage in the body. Okay, so also I want you to think about this. What is really hunger, right? A lot of times people are just thirsty because there is, most people are dehydrated and don't feel it. So there is the psychological part of the hunger, which is the body kind of thing, and that is likely not the case. When you feel hungry psychologically, that's the first time that it's come in. And then there is the psychological part, which is the head part. You're mentally saying, oh my God, I gotta eat. So, okay, let's phase this out. Let's understand what the body needs, right? And ask a few questions before we really understand that the body needs food or not. And we are so conditioned by the news and maybe previous practices to just eat every 2 or 3 hours, like I used to do, So I think, again, we cannot jump from eating every 2 or 3 hours to do intermittent fasting. That's not going to be a good idea, okay? Took me quite a bit of time to get to this point. First is there is an education. What is it? What my body's going to react, and slowly you start learning, and now I can go for a very long period of time without eating. Although I have not got to 3 days yet. I got to 68 hours of that. And that goes into the water fasting, okay? So let's, I'm going to bring this up. You've seen, if you've been following me, talk about insulin resistance and body, blood sugar and management of blood sugar. And this goes actually quite well to understand, you know, eventually how to get to intermittent fasting. So just a recap over here, when we eat on average, if it's a balanced meal, your blood sugar is going to spike about 45 minutes, and insulin is going to take that glucose out of the blood and, you know, and bring to the cell, assuming everything is working 100%, and you're going to generate energy and so on. So once the insulin is out of your body, which is, you know, about 2.5 hours, max 3 hours, okay, then for the next 3 hours or so, you're going to be burning fat, right? So first thing in this process is, how often are you eating? So I would start getting practicing on not eating on average of, you know, 5 hours, you know, 4 to 6 hours. That is the first step, okay, to do it. So how do I do that, right? Well, what you do that is by actually, you know, adjusting your plate, your nutritional plate template that I call it, to be balanced. So it's going to give you enough energy for you. And obviously stay really well hydrated, okay? That's going to help. So why a lot of people in the beginning, including myself, you know, until I learned what I was doing years ago, you know, why we're feeling hungry or weak, you know, sooner than 5 to 6 hours. One I already said, one is not eating enough, you know, foods and the right foods to start off. Another is eating too many carbs, you know, for breakfast especially, or in the previous meal, because that can spike your blood sugar and then you're going to crash and then ask for food again. A couple other things is, you know, you might be out of shape actually, so the muscles are not utilizing, your body's not utilizing, you know, the glucose efficiently. You could be just fatigued, okay, it could be dehydrated. You could be insulin resistance, like mentioned over here. Okay, you could be leptin resistance, a conversation for another time, but I think I mentioned this in the past. So those are certain reasons that you might be feeling hungry before an average of 5 to 6 hours. So, you know, oh, and the other thing is, very important, is impaired digestion. Okay, because if you're not absorbing all the nutrients when you eat the amazing foods that you're eating, you know, so then there you go, and the body's not going to have enough in there. You might have enough calories in, you know, or this nutrition, but if the body is not breaking it down efficiently, it's not going to get to this cycle over here very well, right, or fast enough. So also, before I move on, I want to share with you, if you're eating 3 meals a day, okay, this is what your body's going to be, all right? And this is already, we're going to go through multiple fasts over here. So you're going to be, you know, intermittently, you know, eating 3 times a day. So you're going to allow the body to, between breakfast and dinner, between lunch actually, between breakfast and lunch, you're going to be allowing the body to burn fat for approximately, you know, 2.5 to 3 hours. And then between lunch and dinner, the same thing. And then, you know, the next most useful way for fast is to assure that you have 12 hours between your dinner and your breakfast, right? So that is already, a lot of people are fasting and they don't know, okay? So, so an example would be, you have dinner at 7 o'clock, right? And you don't eat your breakfast until 8 p.m. That is exactly 8 a.m. I'm sorry. That would be 12 hours, right? And so let's say that you get to this stage. Stage 1 is to eat, you know, 3 times a day. Okay, if you're eating multiple times, more than that today, cut this snack. And I gave a little snack kind of attack the other day. So go through that. You know, make sure you're hydrated. You know, space the meals first. Let's go that way. Second is assure that you have 12 hours between your dinner and your breakfast. That's step number 2. Step number 3 is, okay, now let's jump to 16 hours fasting, right? So you ate your dinner, and now you're going to have, you know, lunch next. You know, you're going to skip all the morning out, right? So again, this is you're going to be able to do this according to, you know, managing and balancing your hormones and meals, okay, slowly. So That is the second, the third or fourth step. I lost count over here in the steps. Then the next step is, again, you're taking count of how your body's doing. I would definitely do a journal during this entire process. What are you eating? How are you feeling? And is feeling mentally, hunger? Are you, your mood is changing, which is highly possible that's going to change because there's going to be a hormonal imbalance right there. The body's going to be screaming and adjusting to this. Very important that you stay tuned and keep trying, okay? So, and eventually you can get to 24 hours, okay? And, eventually you can try 3 days. Some of the benefits, the studies go back and forth on the intermittent fasting, right? But some of the benefits that provide, is definitely for people with PCOS, with that's a great benefit as well, to regulate or to increase the hormone balance in insulin and blood sugar. So that's one. Two is likely is going to improve your lipid profile, meaning your cholesterol, triglycerides, LDL, and so on. Okay, another thing is actually it's a good thing. You're gonna save some money. You're gonna eat less, okay? But you're really it's a great way to practice managing hunger, and you might be asking, why do I want to do that? And I said, well, because you might be in circumstances where you don't have access to food. So your body is gonna go back and say, yeah, this is how I do it. Let me burn what I have in storage so you can function well. Okay, so that's a great way to to practice and teach the body how to do this. So other benefits are going to be obviously that studies come back and forth on this. You're going to be reducing oxidative stress in the body, blood pressure also because you're managing your blood sugar, insulin resistance, and your lipid profile. So the likelihood is going to be improving your blood pressure as well. And metabolic kind of conditions, okay, overall. And you'll be able to manage your appetite, like I just said, a little better, You're going to be getting a great sense of feeling how your body works and what your body needs, okay? So those are a few things. Now, when you go into this, one more thing, right? Your body composition, is likely going to improve as you're going to start burning more fat. So that's another great benefit. So you might not lose, depending on what you're doing, you might not lose a ton of weight, but most people lose weight. Is actually one of the ways to kind of crank it. If you're not losing weight, intermittent fasting can be a way to kind of reshape and re-gear, the body to start, okay, I can do this, right? So a couple things on that. The other thing to keep in mind is that you got to be gentle with the body as far as the foods that you're going to be eating when you get back to it. It is tough to see when people go into the Whole30, in the beginning of the year, or they start doing this, healthy kind of diets, but then they go back into first day in, then they eat like tremendously. They eat all the things that they missed, like they drink the beer, the alcohol, and they go to the pizza because they missed this for 30 days. And I said, oh my God, this is chaos to the body. You just put the body through an experience, right, of not having this toxic foods, and now you're dumping all this. This is very kind of traumatic and stressful to the body to do it. So on the intermittent fasting, if you're just starting this, be kind. And what you're going to do is I suggest to keep into, healthy foods, and especially liquid, when you get back into it. So have your first meal as great in protein, but comes back from protein from leafy greens and things like that, okay? Control the amount of fat, but have the fat from omega-3s, anti-inflammatory, add that to your smoothie and things like that. Be just kind. Remember that the body is a little off, or is adjusting. So you know, it needs a little bit of gentleness over here. So, and the liquids and powders can be very helpful to help to kind of reignite, right? So those are a couple of things that I wanted to share about you with intermittent fasting. How do I do it? I do actually once a week. Sometimes I do twice a week, you know, that I go 24 hours without eating. And I've tried different phases where I have breakfast and I don't go to the breakfast of next day. And sometimes I've tried them all, actually. I've tried from lunch and then to lunch, you know, and dinner to dinner. And one thing that I would recommend you be cautious about is the time that you have your dinner. Okay, because again, I'm all about you know, all the guidelines and the teaching and the coaching that I do is deeply to regulate hormones. So if you're eating, you know, at 10 o'clock, your last dinner, and then not eating until the 10 o'clock or 11 technically, you know, to be 24 hours to the next day. I mean, remember that 10 o'clock p.m. and anything after 8 p.m., your body's already shutting down, right? Your hormones are, certain hormones are going to rest. So eating that late, you're going to wake up, you know, a lot of hormones that should be resting. So you're kind of reducing the growth hormone activation and the fat burning overnight. So if you choose dinner to dinner, I would, you know, stop eating about 6, 7, 8, the max, 8 p.m., okay? And as far as, so I've tried the dinner, I've tried the lunch, I've tried multiple times, you know, multiple ways. And really what I noticed to me is how well, you know, hydrated I am, how much sleep I got the night before, and all those kind of things. So, again, I know this because I, you know, be able to keep track of it, and I'm very in tune with my body. So that's why I'm encouraging you to keep track, you know, and note everything. So you're going to learn about yourself. So you can apply this better next time and next time and next time. So be patient with the process if you want to give this a try. I would not try once and give up, because there's no value on trying anything once and giving up. I would say try the times, you know, like I did, try with the hours, experiment, be gentle, and so on. So there's a lot more to intermittent fasting. There is actually exercise in the middle. What are the best exercises to do? It does not mean that you have to actually not exercise. You can exercise. You can improve even more fat burning with certain exercises and all that. But I'll be glad to comment this more, and let me know if you have any questions. You're welcome to, you know, schedule an energy audit, and that is www.energy.befabbeyu.com. Check my website, BeFabBeYou.com, and, you know, good luck with your project, and I hope this was helpful, and, you know, I encourage you to give it a try, you know, and be patient, like I said. But intermittent fasting, I think it's a great concept and can work for a lot of individuals, but is still not for everybody, okay? And in the meantime, have a great have a great evening, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye-bye.